Today we're going to talk about regulation. We know that our students' ability to regulate changes from minute to hour to day to weeks to seasons to age, the change of the wind. We talk about the moon. But when a student comes into my office, I'm going to take a look at their posture, their vocalizations, their movements, and also what their motor is looking like for that day. If I have a speller that comes in and let's say they're traveling from Boise, he's been sitting for 2 hours, we might or might not actually go for a walk up and down the block. We also might maybe do some sit to stand chair squats. We might just kind of move our bodies around to support his regulation. This particular speller is kinesthetic, so he moves around a lot and he does very much need a lot of movement. If I have a speller who is a perfectionist, which most of our spellers are, but let's just say I have a speller that makes a mistake and immediately goes to SWAT. And then they get into this I'm sorry, and grabs the board. So now they're emotional about the situation. I might do 2 things. I might just say, poke the R, you're working hard to poke the R, basically just kind of pushing through it and like not acknowledging it depending on what the situation is like. Or I might actually back away and say, hey, I see your body's working hard. When you make a mistake, you are learning and I believe in you and we're here to make mistakes and we're here to learn. And if we're not making mistakes, we're not learning. So just kind of helping them reframe. And then I have this mantra as well that I give my spellers. My body works hard for me. I work for my body. And then we just go ahead and I say, again, your body's working hard, poke the R. If I have a speller that is immersed in the sensory or in the fidget box, and on top of all this, they're putting something in their mouth or they're grabbing a fidget, putting it in their mouth. I do have this one particular speller that does have a chewy necklace and they always have something around their neck, so that obviously at that point, if they do tend to be impulsive and put something in their mouth, then we can go ahead and redirect them to the chewy necklace. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to support their motor. And I'm going to say, hey, put your hand on your neck. Remember, you have your chewy necklace, so go ahead and reach for it, put it in your mouth, so then we can focus on picking a fidget to take back to our chair, or to take back to your chair. That is kind of how I would support that sensory need for that particular speller. If I have a speller that is particularly vocal, depending on the situation, right, whether let's say they're vocalizing a lot, they're looking a little bit disengaged, or they're getting up and walking around and being kinesthetic after obviously we've already supported kind of the baseline regulation. But I got this lesson and maybe it's not, maybe I've given them known questions and they're kind of tottering back and forth between known questions and semi-open in order to engage their mind. And I would probably increase the cognitive load and say, hey, let me ask you a different question, or after we spell this one, I'm going to ask you semi-open questions to kind of frame that in. A challenge is going to come up and we're going to need a little bit more engagement, and usually that tends to work with some of my spellers that tend to, they like the more challenging, or they need a little bit more higher cognitive demand for their bodies and their minds to stay engaged. Or if it's the opposite, if they're getting dysregulated on the 26 board, I might actually lower the motor demand and or the question type on the 3 boards, so that maybe they are feeling insecure about the 26 board, so that's an emotional support as well. And so I'm going to increase their confidence by dropping down to the 3 boards and then asking a higher cognitive question on the 26 board, and just kind of go back and forth. Again, it's a science and an art. Thank you.